Not yet, Omar. No, just a minute, Omar. Calm down. Jeez. All right. Everybody, a round of applause for Omar Ahern. He's the best patriot that we have. I'm telling you right now. There he is, right there. You're welcome, Omar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I first started the Granite State Patriots, which was in 2009, actually a little earlier than that, one of the first things I did, I got very upset at a lot of the liberals that were going downtown Portsmouth, that bastion of conservatism that it is. And I was very upset at what I was seeing. You know, they'd be there every Friday night, and there was this one lone Vietnam veteran that would be down there with the American flag, and there was a talk show that was on each night, and he called in one night, and I was listening to the show, and he said, my God, he said, I'm all by myself. I'm there alone all the time. And I thought, how terrible is this? That this man has the courage to stand down there all by himself. Well, that was a call to action. So I put the word out, and we decided, you know what, no more. We're going to show up. 90% of success is showing up. You've got to be active, and you've got to be present. So one of the first times we put it together, a wonderful lady named Natalie Healy was there. And I met her. And at that point in time, she told me that her son Danny was a Navy SEAL, and how proud she was of that man. Natalie Healy is here today, but sadly she's here as a Gold Star mom. You see, Danny Healy lost his life a few years ago. You all may remember the book, Lone Survivor. Her son was one of the SEALs who went in to try to save the SEAL team that was in trouble. They all lost their lives that day, including Danny. The largest loss of Navy SEALs in a day in history. When you talk about sacrifice, imagine being in those shoes. So today, I asked Nat to please come here and talk to all of you about the sacrifices that our fine men and women make for us, that maybe all too often we take for granted. I am so pleased to introduce you to my friend, Natalie Healy.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I have to tell you, it's an honor to be here with all of you. I've been away for a while because I've been running a new business, and that's been all-consuming. And I try to keep an ear on what's happening in the world. But when Jack called and said, "Do you want to come up and speak?" I said, of course, because we started out on Market Square in 2003, in March 2003, showing our support for the troops. And since then, the things that have happened, we've won a war, we almost lost it, we won it again, we won another war, it started up again, it's still going on. My son got killed in 2005, I ran for Senate in 2006, lost. Jack ran for governor, lost, and we got our first black American president. This has been an amazing decade. At any rate, by the way, I'm not running for anything except for cover if Obama wins. But anyway, I'm here to say a few things about the sacrifices the military makes, and to what we can do to support the military and to make sure that America, our country, stays strong. First, I want to tell you a little bit about Dan. How many have read the book, by the way, Lone Survivor? Okay. Oh, okay, so you're familiar with it. And how many saw the movie Act of Valor? Thanks, Karen. Yeah. And anyway, so that kind of gives you an idea of what the SEAL culture is like. And at the time of Dan's death, he had been a SEAL for 15 years, which I actually didn't know was quite an accomplishment in it of itself, that most men don't maintain that high standard for 15 years. But when 9/11 happened, Dan was in Pearl Harbor, which was a lovely place to be as far as I was concerned. However, he was frustrated by that because all his buddies were going over to Afghanistan and immediately deploying. But he worked in SDVs. That's Swimmer Delivery Vehicles. And if you saw the movie, they're the little submarines, 2- and 4-man submarines. And by the way, his cousin Peter was driving one of the boats in that movie. I just wanted to let you know. And at any rate, he was pretty frustrated with that. I was fine with it, you know, and I didn't worry because I didn't think there was much call for submarines in Afghanistan. However, as a man who had trained all of his adult life as a warrior, he wanted to go, and within a year, he found a way around it. So when he called me in late 2004, early 2005, telling me that he was going, I wasn't all that thrilled, but that's what he did. He was a warrior, and he left his family. He has 4 children, and went over there and sacrificed his life for his men. I'm told, I don't know if a lot of people know this, there were 2 helicopters that went up that day on the rescue mission. He had originally been in the second one, and when they refueled going up the mountain, he got out of the second, and knocked somebody out of the first helicopter, and he told them, I'm going up first because those are my men and my face will be the first they'll see. And sadly, it probably was, but it wasn't on this earth. You know, and since then, the support and love of the community and the country has been amazing. I want to tell you something. Chief Maloney's mom, Joan, is a friend of mine, and she was there when my Dan was killed. So I went to see her last Saturday with a big lug of macaroni and cheese to give her that and hugs, and she greeted me with, you know. And of course I knew, and I knew what the family was going through. And I have to tell you, all of you here, because I know all of us had our sense of security ripped out from underneath us during that horrific time. But the support and the love of the community and the country holds you up during that time. It's just hard to explain. But I can tell you, it's like being carried on the wings of angels, and it's such a blessing. And the Healy family thanks you, and I know the Maloney family thanks you as well. But I also wanted to touch on a couple of quick things. Because of Dan and the mission that he was on and the book, doors have opened for our family in many ways. And one of them is that there's a foundation called the Navy SEAL Foundation. And they have a dinner every 18 months in New York City and raise millions of dollars for the children of the men who have been lost. And it's a wonderful thing, scholarships to college and laptops and things that ease their lives and help to try to fill the void. And we go every time as the guests of various Wall Street firms. Okay, this last time, my friend Sue Peterson, who a lot of you know, she went down with me, and on the way down, I said, please, of all the Wall Street firms, I don't want to be a guest of Goldman Sachs, because of 2007 and 8 and all that. But God has a sense of humor. So, of course, we were seated at the Goldman Sachs table. Now, the least expensive meal at this fundraiser is $1,200, and I was there as their guest. But I really couldn't help myself, because when they came over to talk to me and greet me, and I realized where they were from, I had to tell them how we felt with what they did when we gave them that money. So they were very nice to listen to me as I told them, and I thought what they did with that money and then gave themselves those big bonuses was like a colossal national slap in the face, and we didn't appreciate it. And they took it quite well, and who knows if it'll matter or not, but I knew I was putting that table for some reason. So at the end of the evening, when we were leaving, they came over to say goodbye, and again, they were very respectful. And so I said to them, we've spent this night honoring men who have given their lives for the country and who live their lives for the country's benefit. And I'm asking that you go back to Wall Street and conduct your business in the same way, in the same manner. Who knows work? Who knows? But with Dan and God's intervention, I could say that. And because I'm a 12-time mother, I can get away with it. So anyway, as far as the military goes, I know a lot of you know that we grew up and the United States was the top dog militarily. And sadly, we're starting to lose our edge. China has more submarines. That's a terrifying fact. They have more submarines than we do. And they're building more and we're retiring more. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, I know if Dan were here, he would be right with us on all the issues, let me tell you, because that was his heart. And he loved his country, and he loved his family, and he was a man who was kind and generous, but he wasn't afraid to stand up for what he believed in. And he would have said, America has to stand strong against our enemies, because if we don't, who else is there to protect us? And if we don't protect some of the weaker countries in the world, what's going to happen to them? So we have to stand strong. I always think of this correlation. When he was in high school, he started weightlifting. And I know he did that because he considered himself a 90-pound weakling. And so in a couple of years, he built a pretty strong body. In fact, I used to worry how he'd get down the hall with his shoulders. So he had a younger sister, his little Irish twin, who had a mouth on her sometimes, and she would say things, and if anybody wanted to make trouble with her, they'd all of a sudden say, don't get into trouble with Jen, because Healy will take care of you. In all those years, Danny never had to fight, because they knew he was strong, and they knew he had resolve to protect his little sister. That's what America has to do. We have to be strong in so many ways, not just militarily. We have to be strong in education, and we have to be strong in the way our money works. All the way around, we have to be strong, we have to have the resolve, and we have to serve notice to the world that we will remain strong, and we have the resolve to protect us and others. God bless America, and thank you.
Natalie Healy. Thank you, Natalie. I know it was a fundraiser, but I'm shocked. A $1,200 dinner at a Goldman Sachs event. You think it was the congressional cafeteria?
GrokTV.